Welcome back to a game of World of Terra, where we play D&D in a little homebrew setting. With me, as always, are Shae, played by Lex.
Hello.
We got Bobby, playing the Cleric Grim.
Hi.
We've got Meidrax, played by George.
Howdy.
And I am Ark. I'll be your DM for today. Unfortunately, Phen, as played by Adam, is probably going to be a little late while he gets a little bit of work done on this lovely Sunday morning. Alrighty, so previously on D&D in the World of Terra, the group was exploring the last little bit of this tomb where they discovered a sarcophagus and a couple of little crypts off to the side of a very strange room. After some investigation, they triggered some sort of ancient trap, which in turn caused the sleeping wizard creature to wake up, and we have a friend now. She's very, very excited to be here. Right. The group ended up having to battle this sort of Daxian Empire judge of sorts. Some guy with, a certain penchant for appendages, as it were. Got a little handsy. Group put him down. Did a little bit of exploring. Found lots of treasure. And that is where we will pick up. What do you guys want to do?
Well, I need a rest. Really?
Well, you're welcome to short rest.
Didn't we have a rest on the? If I remember correctly, we were going back upstairs.
You are going back
and
upstairs.
We were on the stairs, and on the stairs we decided to take a break because you were carrying those plates thing.
Lugging.
Yeah.
Lugging.
Yeah. Yes, and they're very heavy, and it's like a 45-minute constant stairwell trip because it's a huge stair.
That's why we took a nice long break.
So, well, you took a nice short break because you've used your long rest for this 24 hours. So, yep. You are welcome to continue up. You can spend whatever hit dice you may have left. Any abilities that recharge at short rest are recharged.
I did not track anything you used of mine while I was watching the session last time.
Because I actually probably ended up giving you way more spell slots than you had. Because I just treated you as full, which is why I made the battle as hard as it was.
But for now, I'm probably out.
You are... I used Turn Undead. I don't remember if you get those back at short rests or not. Your Channel Divinities. And I used all your spells for sure, including ones you didn't have. So you're in debt to me now.
Healing Hands, War Priest attacks.
I did not use Healing Hands because I forgot about it, and I don't think I used War Priest either. So
excellent. Okay.
Those.
2 sessions ago, my AC was down to 14, but I don't remember why. Is that still the case? Damn it.
Yeah, that's permanent.
It's because of the shields, right? That you.
Well, you got googed by some gray oozes, and gray oozes are the enemy of metal.
Really, I don't understand why you guys didn't teleport. I mean, that should be standard for adventurers.
You should teach me how to do that.
Sure, okay. Yeah.
Alright. So you've now rested. You're on the stair. You presumably you're going to continue going up?
Yes.
Okay. So when you finally reach the top of the stairs, fairly worn out, especially those of you carrying large marble slabs, the crypt or dungeon or tomb, however you want to describe it, is exactly as you left it. You come up the stairs into that one little side room, and okay, cat, not helpful, not conducive to playing D&D.
The cat task returns.
Cat task. To the left, is the hallway that leads to both the entry that you came in and the column room. To the right is the room with the braziers.
Alright, so I don't remember what combo we used for the
Earth.
braziers, but I'm going to put the marble in the sarcophagus room. Laid out kind of like up against the wall near the steps. The room we came down with the sarcophagus.
Yeah. The sarcophagus is upstairs, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna put the marble down there, and then yeah. So I got I'm tapped for the day. We could go over the treasure. Try to evaluate it. I have no idea. What do y'all want to do?
Combinations on. Sorry, I think we wanted to try different sets of combinations for the braziers. We had earth. We probably want, I don't know, fire. I assume that's a thing.
There's a fire column, a earth column, and an air column.
Air.
Yeah.
And if we find some armor that might fit, that would be really cool.
I don't know. This looks very slimming on you.
Yeah. Some of the zombies are skeletons.
It is slimming because it ate most of it away.
That's
it's like going on an armor diet.
You should go back down. There are some skeletons with armor.
It was really shitty armor.
It's worse than his 14.
Better than 14?
No.
What if you slap some on yours, just pieces and stuff?
Just layer up.
None of you are armor makers, so the chance of that actually doing anything is pretty slim.
I just need to find varying sizes so I can layer it on.
Or just with rope, tied around you?
What kind of armor did the gnolls have? Any?
Filthy giant
Gnollish.
hides.
Okay, so no better.
Because the problem is also Grim has a negative dexterity? Is your negative? No.
No, I have a +1 dex.
Okay, so
It's my int that suffers.
That's right.
Okay. Interesting.
So did we figure out how these braziers work in relation to the pillars? Like we've got earth now, but do we know why we have earth now?
I think that was Phen's doing.
Well, if nothing else, you know that over in the column room, this one on the left coordinates to the one on the left of the braziers. The middle to the middle, the right to the right. Those are the combinations that have caused unlocking.
And I think we did left, center, right the first time. I'm not 100% sure.
All right. Then guess we're gonna extinguish the fires. Well, grabbing a torch and lighting a torch before we're not so much to fire. We have fire. Does anything close? If you want to put them out?
You're putting out the brazier?
Yes, well, before I do that, I'm gonna light another torch.
Right, sorry.
So we still have fire.
So you also know that when you light a brazier, any other brazier that's lit goes out, and the new one that you light goes aflame. So I wasn't sure if you were doing that, or are you just trying to put out the flames?
Right. No, then let's just light the right fire, then I guess.
I think
That one is still burning.
I think it's
So-
I think it's fire, earth, air. So
Okay, well, I want to light air.
Yeah.
okay.
See what air does.
So the fire for earth goes out, and then you hear kind of the locking mechanism engage, and then you hear the clicking of something else.
All right, run over to the column room
Okay.
or the ooze room, whatever, and look for which one's poking out on the right.
The air column is the.
Okay, push it in.
So you depress the relief carvings on it, and you hear the heavy clicking engage somewhere, and the rumbling. Going back to the room that has the stair leading down, you see that there is still a stair leading down.
Okay, you want to light the earth next? Go air, earth, fire.
It's important to note you've literally already done all of this.
Yeah, but we didn't press the thing in each time.
I think you did. Eventually.
No, we only pressed it in one time.
Oh, you only
for
pressed
each
the
of-
earth one in each. Okay.
We pressed each one of them in once.
Okay. If you've. Okay. When you were doing it the first time, when you light a brazier, it unlocks something. And what that is the column, is what you've discovered, because you guys did a lot of this. And then when you press that in, it changes the stairwell leading down. When you light a brazier and push in the mechanism on its associated column. If you switch braziers, it undoes all that. So the braziers, in your experience, because you've done several combinations of this, the brazier only reacts, or sorry, the brazier and its column are the only two that interact. There's no other, like you can't light earth and then go push in fire and then have anything, because there's nothing to push in on the
Oh.
fire column.
I thought it was a combo system.
No, it is a 1-to-1. Is what
Okay,
you
so are we
discovered
done
a
with
couple
Ruin?
months ago or whatever.
So based on that, it would be safe to assume that
There are
the only thing
there are 3
is,
stairwells. You have been able to accomplish no other combination. They appear to be generally the same stair. You can't really tell if there's much of a difference, because the stairs slam back in and then come back out. They are different stairs, but they have the exact same positioning. So it's a very weird system. But the only way you've been able to do it is to see, okay, the one brazier and earth column makes a stairwell. The one brazier and fire column makes a stairwell. The one brazier and air column makes a stairwell. You just happened to stop for whatever reason. I think it was completely random on Earth, and that happened to be the one that led to the bottom of the tomb.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's do air.
Okay. You.
I mean, I'm gonna die. I don't know how well you guys are gonna do, but I'm gonna die. If it's half as tough as the Earth one.
well, I mean, really, how many powerful undead magicians can there be in a single tomb?
3.
3.
Plus.
Is that like
plus
a
the
rule
master.
that 3 is the maximum?
No, that's just how many rooms there are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's
So there's the stair leading down for air.
okay? Shall I go down and have a look? I think I have the most health. I'll go carefully down the stairs and have a look.
At this point, you might even have the most armor.
As you proceed downstairs, you find that after about 35 feet of travel or so, it's about 30 stairs probably, maybe a little bit more. You kind of lost count, but it just kind of winds around, and then it opens up into a threshold with a room beyond.
Look safe, guys. Come on down. Water's fine.
Groom's gonna trot on down.
Yeah, you see just a stone room with the same kind of appearance as the main floor. Just kind of normal walls. At the top, there is some crenellation. Just a little bit of like a nice stone cap that runs along below the ceiling. In the center of the room, there is a little raised pattern, essentially a circle that almost looks like the lip of a pool or something. But there's nothing in it. And that's all you can see from the doorway.
I follow down as well. Anyway.
Phen is already standing in front of Shae, looking around.
Well, okay, Phen. Why don't you go have a check for traps?
Okay, guys. He goes and he looks around. He's searching. He rolls a natural 1 to check for traps. Looks good, guys.
All right, I'm gonna walk out there and like crouch next to this empty pool.
Okay, so
Ready to die.
when you get to the edge of it, you actually see that it's maybe about like a 3-inch wide curb, and all around the circular curb there are just runes carved, and the center of this flat pool is one perfectly smooth like stone surface. It's not like multiple stones put together is what I mean there, but it is carved with like magical lines.
Can I
Like a magic circle. I'm sorry.
Can I discern what it does or how to also I don't have any dark vision. I'll light a torch.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I presume that you have the torch still going, or a light on Phen's sword.
But,
That's usually how it's done.
Oh, okay. I want to see if I can tell what kind of magic this pool uses, or if I've seen anything like this or read about it. Just more information on it.
Yep. You're doing an Arcana check?
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were doing an Arcana check.
I got a 13.
No, you did that correctly, where you told me what you wanted to do, and then I should have replied with what you were doing. I'm used to people telling me that they're doing an Arcana check, and then why, which is not correct. 13?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What would you know about this? You recognize some of the runes as general just magic, like derivatives. It's older than anything you are really familiar with, especially because you didn't really delve into magic that much before fairly recently. You've seen circles like this before, especially when you started really kind of looking into things. Stuff like this resembles the teleportation circles that like some of the nicer guild houses use, things that even like you are not allowed to use. You're not high enough level, but you know that like that kind of magic exists, so you think this might be some sort of conjuration circle, especially considering it's just a dead end room It doesn't look to be divine or anything. You're pretty sure it's arcane, so it's probably, if you had to hazard a guess, travel.
And the room is a dead end. There's
Yes.
no other exits. Okay. Shae, I think you have to get in.
Okay. What's up? What do you need? What did you find?
There's some kind of magic circle. I think your power will unlock it. It's more arcane.
Okay. I'm not sure. Do you want me to blast it? Or feed it power? I don't know. I don't know how magic circles work, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on how to activate it.
Okay. I'm gonna try something.
Okay,
I
I'm
touch
gonna
it.
back up.
Hold the torch.
Okay. When you touch the runes, you feel the cold stone. Nothing happens.
Progress.
Lick it.
Grim licks it.
Tastes cleaner than you might have expected.
Oh god. Are the oozes down here too?
You can see.
Do not get in that pool.
There is no actual pool, just for the record. It just looked like a pool or something from far away. Now you realize it's just a little carved circle.
Like a cistern or whatever they're called. I think.
I mean, that's what you
An
maybe
empty
thought it
pool?
was, but it turns out it's
Oh,
literally
okay.
just this magic circle that's a permanent installation.
Okay, can I check the walls for like, any, I don't know, secrets?
Yeah, I mean, you don't see anything offhand. You can give me a perception check to see if you can find anything. But
Okay. Investigation?
hold on, investigation.
9.
There are pilasters in each of the corners, but they don't have the same appearance as like the columns in the rest of the place. So
I'm sorry, what is a pilus?
it's a pilaster is a column that's buried in a wall. So it's not a freestanding column is a column. A pilaster is one that's in the wall.
Okay.
So they don't have the same. There's no carvings on them. There's no symbols. You don't find any sort of mechanism that would make them activate.
Can I
Yeah,
read the
let's-
runes? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Okay. Can I read the runes?
Do you have
Runes.
anything that would allow you to read the runes? Any special abilities?
Rune
You
reading.
don't have like eyes of the rune keeper or anything like that, right?
No, I've never even heard of it.
Oh, it's the warlock power that lets you read anything.
No, I don't have that.
Grim, do you have detect magic?
I don't have that prepared, and oh, I could have. Yeah, no, I don't.
Okay.
I wonder what rituals I do have.
Yeah, I think you should just blast your magic into it, Shae.
Oh, sorry. To follow up on the can you read it, we can do an Arcana check to see. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
That was Adam, who is Phen, texting me. Unfortunately, they had a bit of a work emergency. He will not be able to join us today. We'll see if he's available next game. But yeah, so if you want to give me an Arcana check to see if you can make out anything. Because you are a little bit studied. You're also from a higher house that would maybe have some lessons in this sort of thing.
21.
Okay. Yeah, you absolutely think that this is some sort of conjuration circle. You see that there are some runes that are very specific to elemental air. You believe that this is not a teleportation circle. This is not something that would allow you to travel from one place to another. Or, I'm sorry, it might allow you to do that, but you don't think that is its purpose. You don't think it's for, like, let's step on and teleport to, you know, town or whatever. You think this is mainly used for bringing things forth. And there is a bit of runes that you recognize, the way that it's like almost like a cartouche or whatever, where it's the way that it's framed is different from just the runes of power around it. This you think is either the command phrase or some other sort of instruction, or it's something separate from the runes of power. It is informative as opposed to not.
Okay.
I do not know offhand what languages all of you speak, though.
I speak.
That on the sheet.
I speak Common, Abyssal, Draconic, and Elvish-ish.
Grim.
Whatever.
Celestial, Elvish, and Halfling.
Meidrax.
Common, Draconic, and Dwarvish. Or Dwarven.
Okay. Grim, you recognize some common strokes in the words in Celestial, but it is not Celestial. But you recognize some kind of like derivative roots of it. Essentially, what you are able to kind of glean from because none of the grammar is correct, none of the sentence structure, but you think it essentially says something to the effect, of say. So like maybe some sort of command word. So it's like, here, say this. But it's essentially something similar to speak. You know, speak these words. What does Shae speak again? I'm sorry.
I speak Common, Draconic, Abyssal, and Elvish.
Okay. You do recognize some of the runes. You don't recognize the little top portion, which is the portion that Grim just read. What you do recognize are some of the influences in Abyssal of the bottom words. But it does not appear to be. You can't determine any sort of word from it. You think it's maybe maybe like a name or something.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna blast firebolts into the pool or whatever.
Okay.
The recess.
It just hits the ground and does the damage you would expect against stone.
Well, that was my only idea.
Grim, can you point out the if you found any? Can you point out the power word or activation word or something?
From what I can tell, it just says these are the activation words, and I can't read anymore. Say this, whatever that is.
And then
Okay.
Shae could maybe guess at some of the pronunciation, but it's
I'm
not
gonna-
like a phrase.
I assume I have what I want to do, so I'm gonna open my pack
Okay.
and go into my scholar's pack, and I want to grab some pieces of paper.
And some charcoal.
Yeah, and just go over the
Okay.
over the name and what we think might be the activation words.
Yeah, a piece of parchment will cover that, so you're able to get a pretty decent rubbing of this.
Excellent. Maybe somebody in town will know more about this. Maybe if we're willing to pay for it.
Possibly
That's what you get for
Minerva.
not hiring Osia, but that's fine. It's not important.
Yeah, keep rubbing it in. Well, we can't activate this, so it might be prudent to go back upstairs. I'm not even sure we want to activate this, by the way.
But we'll
Nothing
go-
ever good comes from activating magical portals in dungeons.
Yeah.
I mean, there's sometimes treasure, but there's a lot of bad.
Yeah, and maybe
You
we can
do
make a
think
new
that this
friend.
brings something here?
It could be something friendly.
Could be fondue, yeah. Why not?
So there's nothing else in the room that we see.
That's it.
Well, we can go back upstairs and try the last pillar.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find a translating stone
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
or a book on how to read whatever language this is.
Or somebody who actually knows how to read this and doesn't want to kill us. That might be a bit too optimistic.
I think so.
So you go back upstairs.
Maybe they'll just want to seriously maim us.
Yeah.
You go back upstairs. You switch the brazier over to the fire. You go to the column. You press it. You hear the familiar rumbles. Anyone who stayed in the stair room watches as the stairs recess and then new stairs come out. You travel down probably about another 30 or so steps, but the wind turns off and goes the other way, about halfway down. And you find yourself in another empty room. This room is more... It almost looks like... From the balcony, it looks like about 20 feet of like bridge, like kind of a classic stone bridge. It has little side walls that are about 4 feet high. It doesn't arc, it just goes straight across. At the end, there is a freestanding threshold, or like an archway, with a large keystone with a symbol on it, and a couple other symbols going around it. And there appears to be a pocket of stone beyond that, maybe about 5 feet. So it's this threshold, and then a little bit of a carved out space behind that. Off the sides of the bridge is about a 20-foot fall to just a stone floor beyond.
There's nothing down there we can see.
Not that you can see now.
Phen, can you...
Phen, check it for traps.
Yeah.
He's like, which part?
The bridge,
Yes.
please.
It's much better than a natural one.
Hmm,
I don't
two.
see anything, guys.
All right.
All right, I'll walk across.
All right. Yeah,
Click.
there's nothing on the bridge.
Oh, thank goodness.
Grim will follow.
All right, so there's like a sort of like round balcony or something at the end of it.
It's more where it hits the other side of like the big open room. So imagine you're like in a giant cylinder. The sides
Okay.
are nothing. The bridge is in the middle, and then at the back,
Okay.
at the back, is like a carved out kind of cubby.
Oh, okay.
And the archway door or whatever is in front of that, but there's nothing there.
Okay. Phen, can you check that room? or they across the bridge? For traps.
Looks like just an empty space.
Okay, I go in.
Yeah, it's just the archway itself is about 15 feet tall to the keystone. This is about 20 feet. This is just kind of bigger than the archway in each dimension. So it's about 2 feet to either side of the archway, 5 feet deep beyond the archway, and then another and 20 feet to the ceiling above. So literally just like a pocket of space behind this archway.
Are there any kind of markings or runes?
There are runes on the archway. Yes, there are. They're very large. They're not small like the little rune circles. It's 5 on each portion of the archway going up, and then 1 large one at the keystone.
Can I make any kind of check to know what they represent?
Yeah, it's an Arcana check.
Ooh, 20 total.
You recognize that the symbol at the top is the symbol for elemental fire, but that's all you're able to make out.
Okay.
The other runes you don't recognize, but
Can Grim make a check?
you do think that it maybe is similar to the other portal room, but you don't think that this is not. You don't see conjuration runes for bringing something here. That you don't recognize these. Grim can make a check, yeah. I don't know what he's doing, but
Same thing, Arcana, to see if I can decipher anything.
Okay.
With my -1. 12.
No, you have these runes are not in a language you recognize. These are not anything you were ever taught. Even in
I taste
top
one.
Arcana. The stones
The
here,
first one at the bottom on the left.
it tastes like ash and soot. Not clean like the previous one.
Does it look like ash and soot?
A little bit. What you thought was just kind of dark stone is more like there's.
Because the elemental fire. It's got magical taste.
It's also, I forgot to mention this when you walked in because I got distracted, but it's also warm in this room. Not like uncomfortably warm, but it's not you're deep underground in a dungeon cold.
It's a human kiln.
Luckily, none of you are humans, so you're fine.
Yeah,
We should take a long rest here, guys. It's cozy.
It is.
It is cozy.
I'll bet that's how we
stones-
open this portal.
The stones
We'll
actually
just take a long rest on it.
radiate some heat, not uncomfortably, but more like if you've ever stood on like radiant floors in like a bathroom or something like that, where the tile instead of being cold is actually kind of warm.
Is the fire of the torch doing anything? Or just being a fire?
It is just being a fire.
Can you touch that torch to any of these runes and see if anything happens?
Sure. I'll take the torch and I'll hold it near the runes if I can reach that.
It does, as you approach, the torch does start to flicker. You know how fire will kind of go back and forth. It does start to flicker towards the archway.
Ooh. Now it's getting interesting, yeah. I'll carefully move the torch towards the archway. And
I
maybe
back up
try-
more.
Please be something good. Please be something good. Please.
It gets a little bit brighter as it kind of crosses into the breaks the plane, but that's it.
Wow. Is it if I move it through? Does it keep trying to? Is it still attracted towards the arch?
If you move it through, it just
Yeah.
returns to normal physics of a torch.
Okay.
It is
Then
only
I wanna
about
tr-
like a foot away.
Okay. I want to hold it toward the rune that says fire.
Okay, that's about 15 feet above you.
I click my heels and I float up.
Oh, I forgot you could do that. It does excuse me, that rune, which is probably about like that big, does seem to start to glow as you get the fire near it. The more than what is just being cast by the fire, but it's not glowing like from an inner power. It's glowing from firelight, but more than it should be. You know what I mean? Almost like it's getting hot, but doesn't go past that point. It doesn't continue to build.
Do you two want to back up and let me blast it?
The solution for all
Oh, yeah.
ancient fans.
Well, it might work. Yeah, sure. I'll float away a bit. Well, make sure it's lit up properly. Give it your best shot, eh?
Alright, now we'll conjure a firebolt and blast it.
Okay. You hit the rune, it flares and kind of burns, and it takes a while for the fires burning on it to kind of go out, but eventually they do, and just little sooty ashes fall. That's it.
Have I
That was
mentioned
disappointing.
Puzzles are my bane. What did they taste like?
That ash in the air, kind of like that.
Can I read the ruins? It's not. Is it doesn't happen to be an abyssal?
It is not an abyssal, no.
It's unfortunate.
Is it Pig Latin by chance?
Well, what do you know?
Irefey.
What if someone's inside or beyond the arch when I shoot it? Or I try to shoot multiple runes. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I kind of feel like Phen would volunteer for this, but I don't know.
Do you know what you're doing? You're feeling good about this shot?
I don't feel good about anything down here.
Well, that doesn't make me want to volunteer. But I feel like we're onto something. Okay. Meidrax, I trust you. You can do this. Friendship to last.
Terrible words.
Yeah.
And
okay.
and I go stand under the archway.
Like, actually past the threshold?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. When you cross through, you notice it gets several degrees warmer. And as you turn back to look at Meidrax and them, it's almost like that heat haze that like rises off the road on a hot day. That's kind of what you're looking through. Almost like the atmosphere is kind of burning in that location.
Ready?
But not a lot.
Firebolt.
Yeah, it was before he did anything, by the way. That was just how it is.
Wait, I'm not so sure.
Nothing happens to you. You sense no change. You see the flare from the other side, but it's dark from this side. You actually can't see any portion of the once you're through, you can't see any portion of the archway above. You're basically just in this rectangular room. But you do have that shimmer in the air between you and them. That does not change, does not flicker.
And are there any runes on this side?
There are not. This side is completely blank, but it is warmer. By probably about like 5 to 10 degrees.
That's significant.
Yeah, it's noticeable.
There's nothing up, and there's nothing on the ground.
Although I should probably verify who is holding the group's treasure. Just in case someone goes somewhere that they don't want to go, I need to know who has the spending money, cash. I tried to combine cash and money, and it turned out dirty. It's fine.
I think Phen has 300 something from last game, or he split it up. Oh,
Who's got the
Grim,
bag of holding?
yeah. Phen has the bag of holding, but Grim, you got 75 gold last time.
Have you already split up everything? Is that how that works out?
Phen split some of it up, and then we were talking about a group fund.
Yeah, I was gonna say
At the
because
end.
as a whole, the party got a shitload of money and gems and all that last time. You got to the tune of
Alright,
like 600 something, didn't you? All said and done.
I honestly don't know. I was just happy with the gems.
That's fair. Okay.
Oh, you also, Grim, you also have a diamond, by the way, now.
Oh, you do
yeah,
have a
Grim
300 gold. It's in the bag of holding, or it was. You might just be holding that now though. So you have it. So you have a revivify stone.
I did remember hearing that we found one.
Nice. All right, I hold out one of my pots. Grim, can you cast a light on this?
Done.
Throw it over the side and look down. See what's down at the bottom.
It's just stone, just flat floor of stone. I guess if you held a torch over, you would have maybe seen that earlier as well. But yeah, no, there's nothing down there.
Okay.
Could be a really nice like water feature if you were to pour water or something in there. You know, it'd be like, oh, here's some pools on either side of this nice bridge.
Anyone got anything? I mean,
Is there anything on the crown that, or the rod?
I was just about to warn you guys, like, hey, just remember, I won't RP Phen doing anything or helping you. So you're gonna get those out from the bag of holding. Turn Phen around, open his sack up, and look around.
Yeah, sure.
You take out the crown and the rod, and look at them.
I thought I had those, but
oh, I have
whatever.
no idea. I presumed they were in the bag of holding.
It's okay.
I don't know who has what at any point in time. So you go and you open Meidrax's bag and start looking through. I guess instead, presuming you let him or let Shae take the rod and
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
so yeah, you have them. It's a little diadem with some symbol on the front. You don't see anything on it that like directly says like, "Hey, this opens the fire." But I mean, not certain.
Try it
there's
anyway.
no symbols or runes on them that would give you pause to.
I point the rod at the rune of fire. The fire rune.
Okay.
Shake it a bit.
Okay.
Give it a shake, weight shake.
Try to pour some magic in it. Blow on it.
Nope. Nothing happens by pointing the rod at the rune.
What if you put the crown on and carry the wand through the door while shooting the rune with fire?
And the badge. You gotta wear the badge too.
And the badge. All of it.
The giant WWE belt.
Yep.
Yes.
I think I read somewhere in an old raggedy book that I found that putting on possibly magic items that you don't know what they do, putting those on might not be advised. But hey, if the cleric says it's okay.
Nobody's ever told me I shouldn't put something magic on.
Okay.
No,
But to be
that's
fair,
okay.
everything I know I learned by overhearing people from another room, so...
You put the crown on, and you don't feel any different. It's a little bit cold against your skin. You're holding the rod. You put the badge on, or the belt on. It's
Sure.
really just the buckle, and you can kind of just fix that to your own belt.
Do I look ridiculous yet?
Or pin it to you. No.
I feel ridiculous.
It's a
Here,
decent look. if
hold
you're
this
holding-
evil mace.
I forgot about the evil mix. Okay. So when you put on the crown, and look back at the archway, you can now see the shimmer in the air that you can see from the other side. It's got kind of a reddish orangey hue to it. But there is you're not sensing any magic from the crown.
Okay. Can you try hitting... Meidrax, can you try hitting the rune again?
Yep.
Nothing.
I attacked the rune. Firebolt.
Nothing that you haven't already seen.
Okay. What happens if I approach the archway? It's shimmering a bit, guys.
The same effect that has happened before. There's no difference. You can just kind of see this kind of orangish shimmer in the air. Very faint.
If you're gonna walk through, let's all do it at once, just in case.
I have to be on the outside to shoot the rune.
I think you've already activated it.
Okay.
Let's just
I don't
link
know.
arms and skip through it. Like the adventurers and friends that we are.
Wizard of Oz
Well,
style.
Yeah.
I'll walk through.
Okay. As you guys head through, you suddenly find yourself in that little empty pocket of stone behind the door. But now all of you, when you turn back, can see the clear shimmer through the air of like heat on like a road. It's still orangey to Shae. Almost like faint whispers of flame as opposed to just heated air.
Can I shoot firebolt out of the room? Does that do anything?
Straight through. Against the back wall.
I feel like this rod has to do something. I feel like this rod might be the key.
Try tapping a rune. With the rod.
Yeah, but the room is 15 feet up.
The fire.
Not
I
that
mean,
one, one of the ones on the side.
Are those within reach if I just stand there?
Yeah, they're pretty.
I'm
evenly
grasping at
spaced.
straws.
The first one is like maybe a foot and a half off the ground, and the rest of them are kind of evenly spaced up.
Okay, I'll try tapping those.
I'll
go back out and try tapping them.
As you kind of touch them with the rod, they almost appear to kind of shimmer and glow, but so briefly and so it's hard to tell what it's really doing, or if you're just seeing a
We gotta find the right combination.
I think some. We need to turn this rod on.
We're gonna take our first break there. All right. So you're in front of this archway. You're wearing the badges of office of the Daxian official.
Yeah. I am going to draw the rune for fire with the rod.
Trace over.
No, just no in the space that the archway is in, that's shimmering. draw it like that. See if that works.
Okay. The shimmering on this side intensifies. Now other people can see it as well, and it's almost like faint reddish orange flames, like looking up in a sheet across. But you feel like there's something missing. You don't feel like that's something happening. It's similar to when you're casting a spell or using a magical item and you are so close to using it, but you don't know the command word.
Does anybody speak Daxian here?
Yeah, do you know anything about the Daxians' worship of elements or use of elementals?
I don't know if I've read. Maybe I've read something about it.
I could make a religion or history check.
Anyone can make a if that was said out loud, anyone can make a history check about it. See if they know.
23 for history.
A what?
Nope, I don't remember a damn thing.
A 23?
Yeah, 2, 3.
I got a 2.
I got an 8.
Excellent. Phen is playing with like a pebble or something. You don't remember anything specific about like worship of elements, but they ruled during a time of a very different setting, right? The legends have it that essentially dragons disappeared, Daxian Empire of Man rose to power, which in turn tracks with the whole legend about dragons disappearing and elementals becoming the embodiment of world energy. So you've never heard of the Daxian Empire. There's no stories about, Sir Daxian and his fire elemental. There's nothing like that. But there's a lot of vague history of like mysticism and other things. So you would think that for a more primitive age, that elemental connections would probably be fairly important. But you also know that the Daxian Empire was during an age of fairly low magic for man and mankind, and really all the mortal races.
In that case, if they were fairly low magic, then this probably wasn't. It's not that much of a stretch to assume it wasn't activated by magic. At least not in a way of just throwing a spell at it.
Right, like people who had magic were very rare, or had magical access. Wizarding secrets would have been closely guarded. The reason why the Daxian nobility and those officials were able to rule with such an iron fist is because they had control of things that other people did not.
I'm gonna leave the archway and go back to the bridge and try Sacred Flame on the runes.
Okay. You summon forth the Divine Radiant Magic. It kind of flares up. It doesn't seem to have any effect.
Okay.
I guess I'll try tracing the runes on the archway with the rod.
You mean like actually physically going up to them and doing it?
Yeah.
You don't have any. There's no effect, seemingly.
I yell fire at it in every language I know.
The moment you shout out the command of fire, a sheet of fire flares into the archway, and it turns into a much more substantial, like portal, like magic swirling portal. It's kind of like an inky, dark red, with flames looking around all the outside of it, including at the bottom.
And was I still outside of it? The archway. I was
think
on the bridge, right?
all of you are on the bridge. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew that would work.
So behind the archway, you can still kind of see through it. You see in the room beyond a sheet of what looks like at first like just slow dripping water or something coming down, and it's red and fiery, and you realize it's lava or magma coming down, and it turns into basically a magma waterfall behind. And then on the sides of the bridge, those pools start to fill up with flaming hot liquid magma.
Yeah, we should definitely rest here. It's so warm.
It's very warm now, yeah.
It reminds me of the desert.
But the archway portal that kind of goes like into an actual magical passage through, and it looks as though it's almost kind of shooting back into the wall of magma, and the magma splits open and you can see beyond. And what you see beyond seems almost like at the end of a tunnel. Like it seems very far away, but at the same time it seems like it's right there. Like if you were to step through, you'd be right there. It is a city of a design not terribly unfamiliar to Meidrax. It has very similar construct to the cities of Osun. It looks to be a glittering city of... From the way you can see it, it almost looks like it's made of precious metal. Like glittering gold or other...
I walk towards it.
Okay. Through the portal?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Instantly, Meidrax
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Meidrax disappears.
Oh shit.
What do the rest of you do?
Oh shit. Look, desperation to Grim. Do we follow?
We better.
I grab Phen. Let's go.
Okay. You step through, and you find yourselves wrenched forward. You kind of step out a little bit disoriented, with unsure footing on harsh, broken red sand and stone. What looks to be a completely ruined pathway in kind of a almost like a box canyon. So like you're kind of at the dead end of like a cul-de-sac of stone, and then that city way in the distance beyond. It is a solid 130 degrees here, which, you know, like well above 40. I mean, that actually in Celsius that might be significantly higher. Let's see. That's 54, over 54 degrees Celsius.
You're shitting me.
No. It is very dry. There are heavy black clouds hanging in the air in places instead of white wispy nice clouds. The sky is purplish orange, almost like a sunset, but not. It's dark and ominous. The reddish tan sands everywhere. And you see creatures of flame now moving above the city. Great flapping wings of red.
I hate to tell you guys, but we just walked into an Iron Maiden video.
How did that video go?
What's a video?
You see large fires shimmering above the various minarets and kind of Agrabah style like domes.
What idiot charged through the portal without thinking?
Yeah, I don't.
We're gonna die here.
Didn't plan anything for this place, so we'll see.
Meidrax feels right at home. This is the desert you were looking for.
Yeah,
Looking around you in this canyon, you see that behind you is a similar archway, but in complete desolate ruin. It only goes up about 5 feet. The ruins are completely like scratched and worn away, as if just wind and terribleness have just buffeted sand across it.
I'm gonna
passage back.
I'm sorry?
No passage back.
At the moment, you don't see anything, no.
Okay.
I'm going to remove the diadem and all that, the symbols of office, and put them back in Meidrax's bag. Next time, Meidrax, let's discuss before we run through a portal, okay?
Yeah, I saw that city and it looked amazing. Like, I bet there's a lot of cool jewelry there.
I bet.
Mostly large iron shackles. Yeah, it's gonna go well for you guys. I can see it.
Yeah, speaking of shackles, I think we should move over to the side of the canyon and get out from the direct view down, or downwards into it. With things flying across, we need to be against the wall.
Okay.
Now, it's several miles away, you think, to the city.
Yeah. So you don't want some kind of bird made of fire.
As you're kind of looking out, you do see several plumes of smoke rising, almost like the trails of something. Dark, swirling black fire. And it takes a second to realize, but then you realize it's some sort of red point of something with a black plume behind it, and they are coming towards this area.
They're shooting missiles at us.
They do look a lot like missiles or rockets or something.
Hit the deck! At the very least, I would like to get out of this heat, if at all possible.
Yeah, is there a cave in the canyon wall anywhere? Nothing?
No.
God, I would kill for a damn
Hole in
cave.
the ground?
Portal, ruined walkway that's mostly gone after this little bit. Like there's a couple stones left of where there would have been like a paved landing. So it was probably at one point in time you walked through into this resplendent road down to the city. Now it's nothing.
Grim turns around and just yells fire as he frantically runs back through the wrecked portal.
Do you have the rod on you?
Oh no, he's just panicking.
Then nothing happens.
Smack!
The rest of the portal stones are like buried in sand behind that. There's about, like I said, 5-6 feet worth of the kind of legs of it standing there.
That didn't work, guys.
So, do we want to try go through the portal or again? Or do we keep going?
I mean, that looks amazing, and I point at the town.
Yeah, but that, and I point to the things above the town, not so much. That looks hungry.
Anyone who has studied magic, pretty in depth, or the planes, or elements, can make a an Arcana or History
no,
check.
it froze.
That's not me.
Aren't you trained in Arcana?
I am trained in Arcana, actually.
Okay.
Guess I can try. 7.
I got a 19.
You, Shae, you don't recognize this place from. I mean, you know the deserts of Asun are hot, and you've never been, but you don't think it's like that. Maybe on the eastern continent there's a, there's another desert country over there. Maybe this is that. Maybe this was just a really nice teleportation to that area.
Meidrax drug us to hell.
You think you have traveled to another plane, an elemental plane, and if everything lines up the way you think it is, you think you are on the elemental plane of water. No, of fire.
Welcome to Reno.
And you think, from what you have heard, you think that is probably a very bad place to be. Without preparation.
I'm
Well, I don't know. I know what
city.
Meidrax thinks about it. That is what your studies have revealed, that it's not a good place to be a mortal humanoid walking around.
Yeah, he's looking at the town or the city, looking at the portal, looking at the town, looking at the portal. Fine. Maybe we should go back. I think we're in the plane of elemental fire.
Which in turn would probably kick off a thought to Shae. You may re-roll your check as if you had advantage.
Ten.
You're like, yeah, no, I guess we could be on another plane. Makes sense, ancient magic.
Is that the city of brass?
It's my equivalent
Okay.
from when I designed this
City
world
of-
back before I knew about the City of Brass.
City of metal.
I mean, it's essentially just kind of like a golden city. It's probably become more influenced by the City of Brass just in that time.
Okay.
It's
with
the city of
19,
gold
you would
chrome.
maybe know that. You would know that there is a city, the civilization of the fire plane mainly lives in one city. A massive city that is where the people of your country, Osun, took pretty much their entire cultural influence. Well, I'm sorry, from that and the other, Osun took all its cultural influences from the elemental planes. So there's a lot of plane of air, there's a lot of plane of fire. Those are the two main, and then a little bit of here and there for other things. Shae,
While we're discussing this,
you know very little about the planes, but you expect that
Imagine
probably not somewhere you want to be.
Imagine what kind of information and trade we can get into there.
speaking of trade, how are those glowing dots doing?
Phen is gonna be like, guys, there's something coming. They look like they're getting closer. They're coming pretty fast. It's like the speed at which like a horse is flat out running, but in the air.
We can assume they're not heat-seeking missiles.
Please.
They're cold seeking.
Meidrax, we know the portal, we know how it works now. We can come back here. Please?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Open it up. Let's go.
Shae gave you back the rod, so it's,
Meidrax.
Yeah, he's following. He's he's crestfallen. He's dragging his tail through the sand.
literally.
We know the
crest of
address
crested,
now.
actually.
We can come back and visit when you're like a level 20 something.
I don't understand. It must be your celestial.
I know, but you will. It's okay.
It has to do with your training as a ship's mage.
It's a language called meta,
Yeah.
from what I've heard.
Oh.
Meta is
Credit
actually
being
a
a
language in
ship
this game.
captain.
It's like
And he
primordial.
speaks it fluently. That broke me up.
If Grim was fluent in meta, he'd be dropping Patreon hints along the way.
You should start doing that more, probably. Listeners
Is the
first. Patreon second.
Is the portal still active?
No, it stopped. It was not active when you came through. Like when you turned
Okay.
around, it was done, and then you put the stuff back in the bag.
Speak fire and enter. Let's go.
Meidrax, the stuff. I had to put on the stuff. I can be the stuff.
Okay, so you have
I
the
never
rod back
took
in your
it
hand.
back from you. Yeah.
I think you just shoved it in your bag, or she.
Okay.
I don't know. Or
Fire.
tried to.
Shoot. Fire.
Nothing happens when you say fire.
Oh God. Oh God.
It opens up a portal to Celestia.
Well,
Try Daxian. Or Daxian.
I don't speak Daxian.
No, just say
The word.
Say the word.
Daxian.
Daxian?
The portal
Oh
opens
my
and
God,
you can
this
see
works.
back into the ruined tomb.
The portal is Alexa.
Yeah, it just needs the command of where you're going.
Oh, in that case, ho.
Grim runs past everybody.
It does not change. It stays there.
Damn it.
That's your
Okay.
now.
Safe? Safety?
It stays. There's a portal linked back to that room.
Okay.
Heavily obscured by, a magma waterfall, but still.
Treasure room?
Oh shit. That room's still filling up with lava?
It didn't, well, you left before it was very high, but yeah, there was that lava flow in there.
Oh no, my
We
pot.
gots to run.
Your pot is fucked. You probably watched the pot melt in the first few seconds. Are you going through?
Well,
We
yes.
Okay.
back to the
That wrenching feeling as you stumble forward onto the much cooler flagstones of that same room that you were in. You turn around and the wall of magma appears to be like cooling, but it's still pretty flowy, but it's cooling. The pools on the side are still glowing. They came up to about the bottom of the bridge, about foot level, but there's the 4 foot tall walls. It's much warmer in this room than it was because of the lava. But it's not as stifling as it was back through the portal. As you turn around, the portal is closing, and you can see those 3 plumes getting close, and there's an eruption of sand as they hit the ground. And through the kind of sand and mist, you see dark, hulking forms, very large, and then the portal goes.
Well, that was close.
Then the portal opens back up. And no. You see
Hey,
one.
should we go back to
You
that?
guys have rods too?
Should we go back to that other portal and start saying words at it?
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea.
That was the air room, right? We go say air and see what happens.
It's not a bad idea, actually. No, it would probably be if this was that wasn't so much a portal as it was something that is more like a summoning circle. So
Yeah,
we
one
would
look more
probably
like a summoning circle, yes. Or a,
so we would probably need to
containment
use
circle,
them.
We go
perhaps.
back and say welcome.
That's optimistic.
Come on in.
No, it might work, but we probably need maybe the name of the thing that I've sketched.
The name of the wind.
Yes. Deep.
doesn't matter.
So
You're
I think
sad
we
about your
narrowly
No.
narrowly
Spawned
averted
for cookware.
dying at the hands of 3 missile-like dark creatures, which is cool.
Yeah,
What
well,
now?
we have stories. I think we've pretty much seen everything now, right? We've got the 3 rooms.
I've seen more than I wanted to see on this trip already.
I was hoping we would find the jade creature Minerva was looking for.
That's a good point.
Should have gone
Is
to the
there a
correct runes.
jade dimension?
There is a plane of jade. There's not. That you know of.
Okay.
So let's go
We
ahead
should-
and try the wind room and see if anything happens. I guess. I mean, it's not gonna be a city of gleaming gold and silver. So keep
Well,
metal.
did we try wearing the scepter and crown in the wind room?
Shae had that idea in front of the portal here.
Bam.
Yeah. We want to go back to that room and try it out?
Mm-hmm.
Not really, but it's either that or the long walk back to town.
Well, we can also still keep looking for more runes.
True,
Okay.
but I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to lug that marble around everywhere.
Fair point. Okay.
Will the
Let's-
marble not fit in the bag of holding?
No. We've tried.
We need a
They're like 2 foot by
oversized,
2 foot panels.
industrial-sized bag of holding.
We need 2
A
bags.
funnel of holding.
Maybe if we have 2 bags of holding and we put one in the other, maybe that'll work. Maybe
That
it'll
might
become
work.
bigger.
Sure.
We need a
We
sled of
end up in
holding.
Yeah.
The way you responded to that actually makes me want to try it.
I mean, there are rules for it in the book, so why not?
Yeah. Hey, we could end up on the plane of elemental fire. Who knows?
You won't.
Been there. It's not everything it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
Speaking of cracked up, your lips
Too
are just
soon.
so parched and dry and gross.
Does anyone have any water? I don't have any.
It's a terrible adventuring pack you have there.
I have a water skin, but I don't know that there's anything left in it at this point. You're welcome to try. Make a is there water in Grimm's water skin roll.
There is.
Where's the druid where you need it?
You weren't
Where
there
you
long
need one?
enough to have it evaporate.
Okay. I guess we'll go back to the air room.
Okay, so beep bop boop 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 boop. And then you go down. You find yourself in the same room, looking at the magic circle. You are wearing the diadem and holding the rod.
Yeah, sure.
As you approach this time, you go, "Oh, I can't believe I didn't recognize this before." You are able to piece together the wording at the front of the rune. It says, as best you can. You're still not 100% sure, but it says, "Speak the name," and then the runes below. You realize they're not just like random. You realize, oh, I think I can pronounce this. It says, "Speak the name, Kiozan."
Biozen? Kyozen?
As soon as you do, there is a swirling tornado up from the center of the circle, and as it subsides, there is a small creature standing in the circle.
I don't know what it is, but it's already adorable.
It looks like this.
Yeah, that's in a nightmarish way still adorable.
It looks across the room and then focuses its eyes on you with the rod and badges and whatnot, and says
Ooh.
in Abyssal, "You have called me?"
Yes. Hello.
Please Please speak Common, Draconic, or Dwarvish. Dwarven.
And he says, in Abyssal, says, "Your slaves dare speak in your presence?" Kind of like writes himself up a little bit, almost getting a little, kind of sense an air of cockiness suddenly from it.
They have earned that privilege for now.
Yeah, this is being rude, Shae. Tell it to speak in Common. This weird toad.
I'll try if you can, in this difficult situation, speak a little bit less. It seems to upset him a bit.
It's like 2 feet tall. What's he gonna do?
Yeah, but we don't know what it is. Let's not agitate it until we know we can step on it.
Worst day ever.
I know.
Make a
That I haven't died.
The creature is going to look at Meidrax. Meidrax, you need to make a Wisdom saving throw.
You said make one, right?
I mean, ideally, yeah.
That's more than just attempt. That is, he requires you to succeed.
Yeah.
Succeeding would be nice.
I got a 2.
Oh.
You become frightened of the creature. And then the creature switches from Abyssal into a language you do not understand. It sounds like...
I run back
that-
to the stairs, by the way.
Just screaming. "No!" The in a language you do not speak, but you recognize as possibly just an ancient human language or ancient mortal language. It's not like primordial or something like that. It says "Onskerinke." I was going to tell you what it said, and then I realized, well, you can't understand it anyway. So
We've moved on
Grim
from
just
that.
looks
Like,
at Shae like he expects translation.
hold on a moment.
What language do you say that in?
He just looks at me like that.
No, what language do you say? Weren't you saying something a second ago?
Yes, I was gonna keep speaking in
Abyssal.
Abyssal. Yeah,
Okay.
like we've moved on from that that language to a new one. If you don't speak that, we can just speak Abyssal.
I have not been brought here in several years.
Centuries even. A lot has changed.
It kind of shifts uneasily on its little feet inside the circle. Kind of takes a little half step towards the edge of the circle, kind of tapping towards the curb, then brings its leg back very quickly.
In the middle, please. Stand in the middle.
Are you the new judge?
Yes. What services did you provide specifically for my predecessor?
I am a courier.
You add curry to things?
Don't speak to the weird, devilish thingy, please.
It hisses a little bit when you say devil.
Fiend, then. He didn't seem to like that. To whom did you provide these? Did you bring these messages?
Well, it would have been for the Daxian official, but the thing about it being a tomb is that he is dead. So his priests initiated this connection.
Right, but where does this connection go to?
To the plane of air.
To whom on the plane of air?
Well, if it has been as long as you say, perhaps it is no one anymore.
That
The
I did
plane of
not
air is
catch.
not even there.
No, it's there.
Kind of, you can see its tail kind of poking at the edge of the circle behind it, while it wrings its hands in front of you.
I suggest you don't keep prodding the circle. We've improved it.
Make an intimidation check, or deception, kind of depending on what flavor you want to go with.
Is it still there?
Yes!
Oh!
I'm gonna do a deception. I feel like I haven't really done anything to intimidate it yet. That's a natural 20. So 27 in total.
Its tail kind of snaps back and curls around at its feet. And he says, "You have summoned me by name. Do you require the services of a djinn?"
I don't know exactly do I know exactly what a djinn is?
Make me an Arcana check.
18.
You think a djinn is a genie?
Right, but what would you use a genie for? A djinn for? Yeah, to send messages. But to whom?
To the djinn.
Just in general. Right,
If
okay.
his services are needed, it is my bound duty. Unless you care to change my duties and release me from that path. I can
That
serve
sounds-
you and not this portal.
This whole time, Grim is pretending to understand what's going on because he doesn't want to look stupid in front of everybody. But he's kind of glancing over at Meidrax to see if Meidrax feels confused too.
Do I feel like he's trying to fool me into releasing him?
Make an insight check. With I'm gonna say with disadvantage because it's hard to. He has giant like eyes that don't like move.
Shit. Shit. Well, I got a 1.
You think
In
he
total?
might be lying to you?
Now, I'm just here to inform you that the Daxian Empire is restructuring and that soon, after all this time, it's likely we'll be requiring your services quite intensively, and that you should prepare.
Then I am bound. When you require, I will be here.
Very good. Then we shall meet again soon.
Bring less friends. And then he, in a puff of air, turning over goes up.
I turned to Grim. I think he wanted to eat us. Did you see him shifting, trying poking the circle?
Smaller
Grim
than
makes a
Phen.
sound that's somewhere between gulping and a baby kitten being stepped on.
That thing was scary.
If that
No.
was scary,
You're not
this
kidding
adventure's
me.
gonna get way worse.
No, well, Shae, that doesn't have any idea. I don't think I ever want to get into like a deal or a contract with something unnatural like that. That is just.
I have some bad news.
Wait, in character, out of character.
I think you fucked up character creation. It's like that one game where you can die during character creation.
Oh, that would be something. Man, this place is. It's not good for both my blood pressure and our health. We should go.
I think mission complete. Time to head back. Let's not try conjuring any more weird creatures out of portals. Let's take what we got and go.
I agree.
I'm already like 20 steps up the spiral.
Have you seen Meidrax?
No, I don't hear him screaming anymore.
Hey guys, I think that thing would have made a great pet. It was smaller than me, we could carry it around.
Yeah, but we have you, don't we?
It's mean, Shae. It's mean.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to lighten the mood. Okay, I guess let's go then. Phew. I want to go back to the inn.
Okay, so you head back to the room that you first entered here. Gather up your marble slabs. Look around.
Should we rest before we head back to town? I mean, it was, like several hours away.
It
I
would
don't wanna
be
see
about
it.
5 hours to get to town.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we could, but we took a short rest not that long
It's
ago.
relatively safe.
Yeah, I mean, we had no trouble getting here.
We should head back and then rest and then go armor shopping.
Yeah, and then we should go back out and look for that the jade statue thing that we didn't find here.
Okay. As long as we don't have to see any more of those weird toad demons.
Toad demons?
Thing. The thing that Shae was conversing with.
Yeah, you made the right decision in running away, Meidrax.
Yeah.
That thing was scary.
Okay. You look up the stairs, and there's a solid slab of stone there.
I panic.
But you're talking to the stairs in the original room we came down into.
Yeah, the one that you locked behind
Phen,
you.
Do you know how to unlock this?
Didn't it lock when we started lighting the braziers?
No. It locked when you first opened the tomb. There are two pillars on either side of the door into the tomb. The one on the left, I could have this backwards. The one on the left shut the slab behind you. The one on the right opened the door in front of you.
Okay.
If you
Yes,
were
I know
to
it
put your
backwards.
face against it. I don't know why.
Alright, I put my face against the left one.
The door to the tomb starts to close. You are now shut in this tiny room between the slab of that wall and the slab up at the top of the stairs. and for a brief moment, you're claustrophobic with the "oh god," and then the slab at the top of the stairs.
Oh, I thought you were making that sound. You scared me. That was your dog.
I was like, that was my mouth. Oh. Wait.
It was just so perfectly timed, and for a moment.
Prince Albert. I didn't know if that would translate, so that's exciting.
Yeah, we call that here too.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the daylight outside? Yeah, going up.
Yes. I think.
We went down at night.
Yeah.
Fought, slept.
At like 2 in the morning, and then 10, 11, 3 hours. So yeah, it's probably mid-afternoon.
Oh.
Well,
I think. Oh, you slept a good times. It's probably mid to late afternoon.
Okay, I peeked my head outside of the mound to see if there are any gnolls waiting for us.
Slice. No, you don't see anything.
Right.
You don't see anything or hear anything. Just the general sounds of nature.
Oh, this marble is so heavy.
It is very heavy.
Are we off?
you want me to help carry it?
I don't think you can carry any of it.
No,
Is there a
but
way we could attach your shoes to it so that they could float?
that seems like a waste of perfectly fine shoes.
Just stack them all on top of her and then just push her. The floating table.
No, but maybe you two can carry it together. You're both too big, strong
I'll
man.
just be under it.
No, but I mean,
Floating table.
together, you know. You grab one end and you grab the other end.
I get it. I just think that one of us carrying it and being slower is better than more than one of us being slower. For defensive purposes.
Okay.
Okay. You head out. With the added weight and needing to take breaks.
And we go southeast toward the lake, right? We're going to trace our steps back, or are we going to try to go straight toward town?
Phen will
That's
voice
good.
up that he knows how to just go straight back to town, to the west.
That might be-
Okay. Yeah, we didn't have Phen last time getting here. Yeah.
It is a slightly shorter route, but with all the weight and the breaks that you need to take, it takes about 5.5, 6 hours. So it's night by the time you reach Grensmotte, and you're very tired.
Yes.
Feet hurt, back hurt.
CP time.
Yeah, we
go to
should.
town.
The gate to the this eastern gate is locked and shut.
I kind of just
You
walk
see-
up to it and might fall against it with my forehead.
What is it with his body and face planting against everything? Hello?
Open.
There are some guards on top of the wall. And you do hear the familiar click of a crossbow being readied. And you
Mr.
see-
Guardsman, it's us. You know us.
Only the front gate is open. On the south.
But we're tied. Okay.
This one opened when we leaned against it. That's not exactly locked.
No, that wasn't the sound of
that
the
was the
gate
sound
opening.
of him down the.
Oh, sliding.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's easy to make that mistake in the dark and with his skills. Come on, Meidrax, we're almost there. We just need to go to the next gate.
Kind of crawls towards them and pushes himself up.
You go around to the south gate, the gate that you came through the first day, and there are like street lights lighting that kind of central area with Tessa's tap room on the left, Minerva's on the right, and Gren's goods up ahead. There are some people milling around, kind of as you would expect, maybe in like the lively district of like a big city, in like a square.
Going to Tessa's.
Yeah, you've deserved your rest. We can sell our stuff tomorrow.
Okay.
We all deserve to rest and buy armor tomorrow.
The tap room is very busy. Very, very busy.
Barkeep.
There's a crowd around the bar that's several people deep waiting for service. So there's the people who are actually at the bar, and there's a couple of people around them waiting to get something. It's actually sort of hard to maneuver through.
Could I like cause a ruckus or draw the attention of the bar by like, I don't know, the marble is strapped to my backpack, just dropping it on a table nearby. Not trying to break the marble, just, you know, like a few inches up.
Wouldn't be worried about the marble breaking before the table.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wanted to make sure. Marble's very expensive and wonderful trading item.
There's a very, very loud sound. And a lot of people kind of turn and look who are near you. And you kind of, other people around, kind of like, but you still can't see the bartender through the group of whatnot.
I can't remember if her name, I have it written down two ways, Tessa and Otessa.
Her actual name is not Tessa. Her actual name is Ortessa.
Ortessa?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which is a lovely name for a lovely lady. Truly.
I yell out, Ortessa! Barkeep!
No, it's
Service.
Cortessa, nudge, nudge.
She you don't see her around anywhere, but as you kind of yell, other people are kind of like around you, like, what the hell, Jesus. And one of the serving women come up to you and says, "Hi, are you guys here for
2
dinner?"
rooms and bunches of food.
Okay, I think you already have rooms, first of all.
I only paid for one night.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
In that case,
I put 5 gold on the table.
she says, "I'm sorry, sirs, we are completely full. We have no availability."
Shae emits a small sound of complaint. A whine.
Can't you see? I'm sorry, there's just so many people, we have no rooms left.
Can
I
we
yell
sleep?
out. Oh, go ahead.
Can we sleep in the stables then?
We don't offer that service here.
Is there any other place we can sleep?
There are. There is a stable house on the east side of town that I think sometimes rents out space, although there are a lot of travelers, and that meant more horses and whatnot. There's also another tavern down the street. I think sometimes they have rooms available. And then
I
there's
hold
also
up
the
the
traveler's
5
house.
Okay.
Then she's done.
Okay. I hold up the 5 gold and say, "Who will give me a room for 5 gold? Give me a room for 5 gold."
Let's see here.
That's actually brilliant. I like that.
I'm tired of walking. I just walked like 12, not 12, like 8 miles.
The
Harling marble.
the woman starts to reply, "Sir, most of our rooms are only cost." And walks up to behind you and says, "Couple weary travelers like yourselves, I'd be more than happy to lend you my room in exchange for 5 gold. And
Thank you.
he takes the money, gives you a key, and the very confused look on the woman's face, and he hands her a coin and says, "How about another glass of wine and get yourself something?" And he kind of just walks away.
I just want to say I have never seen or heard anyone do that. And I think it's brilliant. That was an amazing move. I am very much impressed.
I mean,
I'm glad.
an aristocratic inn is like 4 gold for a night, so I mean, you're there.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Alright. I'm glad that impressed you and not sacrificing my life multiple times for.
No, that's almost gotten them killed several times. They're tired of that shit. All right, so you have one room. Are you going directly to it?
Yes, I'm gonna drop everything off there.
Okay. You go and you lay down everything in the room. It is it's a modest room. It's not bad. Has
Are there
It's a
two-
5
two
gold
fairly
a
small
night
beds.
room. Thank you very much.
It's yeah. I mean, the accommodations are probably worth about 10 times less than that, but yeah, it's nice.
Hey, not walking is worth all of it. But are there enough beds for us? Like
There are
2
2
beds. Okay.
2 like double beds.
That's good enough.
Grim.
Yeah.
Grim is so tired, he'll just pick a spot on the floor under the window and fall asleep almost immediately.
Yeah, I'll drop the stuff off and then go get like bowls of stew for us.
Okay.
Come on, Grim. Let's get you into bed.
Okay. Phen seems all excited and that there's so many people, and he says, "I'm gonna stay down here and talk to some people. I'll see you guys later."
Have fun.
And that's how we lost Phen.
Essentially. All right. Okay, so everyone is going to mark another 4 copper off your thing, or 3, because Phen will just get his own. For stew
Okay,
and whatnot.
I'll I don't have that much copper, so I just give him a silver. I'm not in
Okay,
the
well,
mood.
that would give you whatever change.
No, I'll pay for your food. You pay for the room, I'll pay for your food.
Okay.
Oh, that seems fair.
So it's 3 copper for what you need. Does everyone eat and then go to bed?
Yes.
Grim didn't stay awake long enough to eat.
Okay.
I wanna ask around why like one of the people who work in this inn. I'll ask why it's suddenly so busy here.
Because the theater has returned.
The theater? What theater? Oh God, not another theater.
Does that mean Xander could be back?
If you Xander's never
He travels.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be worse. Could be a carnival.
You remember
Yeah, that
when you were first here, people were talking about sometimes there's a theater and they weren't due back for a little while. So it seems like maybe they've gotten back a little bit early. But yeah, it's she describes it as like there's a theater troupe, and it's more like a carnival, like a traveling carnival, and like a little festival. They'll turn one of the streets into like a festival street.
Oh, how long will they be here then?
She says they normally stay a month, but it should be several weeks, I would think.
Oh, cool.
Every once in a while, they've occasionally stayed as little as a week, but it should be here for a while.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Grensmotte
thank
gets
you.
very busy when it happens. So you have all the travelers for that, and then also passers-by, and then people who live in the general area sometimes will come and just stay in town for it.
Okay. Are there still rooms that we can rent from tomorrow on?
She says, I'm not exactly sure how many rooms are rented for more than a night, but I would make sure that you are ready to buy a room if need be, for an extended period of time. Usually we're busier for the first little bit that the theater is back, but...
Okay. Well, I'm willing to do that. If tomorrow onwards there are rooms available, can we kind of like reserve?
You can stay in your room, I guess, now? For another gold will get you 2 more nights in that room? I'm sorry, I would like to honor how much you paid for it, but we can't, considering that didn't go to us. But you essentially bought a week's worth of nights just from someone else. So, and then he gave you the keys. So, to us, it would be 5 silver a night. And if you plan to stay, I would suggest getting several days in advance.
That sounds good. That was another gold you said?
A gold will get you 2 nights. Yes, sir. Ma'am, sorry. It's because I'm looking at the beard.
That's okay.
It's the beard.
Yeah, where I'm from, all women have it's a very feminine beard. I know. I understand how it goes. Yeah. So one gold was 2 more nights.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll
Just lock that away.
Yeah.
So she'll take the gold and she'll go mark that down.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening, and I hope you get to enjoy the theater group.
Oh, I will. They're amazing. You should go check them out.
Oh, we will. We will. And then I'll go upstairs as well after done eating.
While Grim is sleeping, I need a potty break, guys.
Yep, it's a good place to stop for our next break. Alright, so you are at the tavern. Everyone has gone to sleep now?
Yes.
Okay. You get the effects of a long rest, and you wake up in the morning. Phen is not in the room. You think perhaps he's just wandering about, as Phen does.
I'm sure he'll show up at some point. I mean, it's not like he would just suddenly wander off and ever, you know? Especially not with all the fucking stuff.
Yeah, he's got so much of the stuff.
Wait, didn't Phen have the stuff?
Exactly.
I would presume that before he left, he probably would have given you guys like the bag of holding.
No, okay.
Taken whatever his share of the money was, but then, you know, his 75 gold from the other end.
There's a bag of holding here, but it's a halfling share short.
Yeah.
I'll start the day with a quick prayer to Geld in the Celestium.
Okay. As you guys are kind of preparing your stuff, you start to kind of notice that some things are not where you were. I mean, you were very tired yesterday, but some things are not where you would think they should be. Some things are missing. You're kind of looking around for them. There's a definite coin purse that you guys had that's gone. Just something that kind of like you guys keep on you for general, you know, paying purposes. It had like 20 gold in it. A couple gems are missing from backpacks. The marble slabs are still there, but they have yeah, it looks like either you drunkenly went through all your bags last night and have now misplaced some things, or some stuff is missing.
Did we just get robbed?
Where are the gems?
So
I didn't take them.
whatever was in the bag of holding, you still have, because you guys had the bag of holding on you. Or with Phen, as perhaps the case might be. But
And where is Phen? Did someone take our halfling?
was gonna say it makes it sound like I had Phen rob you. I did not.
Did Phen rob us?
If Phen was going to rob us, he could have robbed us a lot more than this.
He is a thief.
That's a good point.
And a pretty good thief.
I want to...
The fancy dagger is missing as you start to go through things. I actually don't know who has what, so I'm just starting to name shit. But, like, your giant
Please
mace
stop.
is still there.
We should complain to management.
Are there... I know I'm not the right person for this, but are there any tracks or
You don't see
finger
anything
smudges?
around. I mean, you could try to really delve into it a little bit more. For the time being, you have lost a total of 35 gold, and I think you have a bunch of gems worth, what, 5 each? I don't remember what I told you.
Yeah.
Take away 5 of those. You think that most likely, if you guys weren't as in tune with your stuff as you are, you probably would not have noticed this. This would have gone unnoticed for the average traveler.
We got robbed. Well, only one thing left to do.
Quit. Roll your
Burn.
characters.
Oh, I was gonna suggest burn down the town, but that works too.
Yeah, let's burn it down.
Yeah, this will not stand.
I'm gonna go look for Ortessa.
I'm with you.
Okay, you go downstairs.
Time we turn evil and just tear this place apart.
You get out the big
Yes.
I mean, you're the voice of reason in the party, so...
Unless he's holding
Shae
Not when I
has to
hold the
go
big
fuck
mace.
shit up.
the big mace that has the motifs of screaming faces on it. Yeah.
I actually refer to the big mace as the voice of reason.
This is something. Do you actually have the big mace out?
No.
Okay. It's always dangerous when the DM asks you what you're actually carrying.
I've got it, but I'm not holding it.
Every time you hold it, even just to move it around, you do hear the screaming in your ears.
Honestly, you should just scream back when you hear them. Try and run.
Okay, so you go downstairs. It's a little bit quieter, but there are definitely it's still pretty full. But people having like breakfast or generally discussing. Everyone seems kind of dressed for what you expect for like walking around town. Okay. Yep.
I was gonna say, as soon as we're out in the tap room, I'm just going to yell over everyone who took our stuff. You know.
Everything
loud,
quiets down.
bellowly.
It's that like that sound of like forks hitting plates that you get in like the hotel breakfast area, and it's just like really uncomfortable and way too loud because it's too open and like nothing bounces back properly, and it doesn't. It's just really quiet, and like a lot of the staff kind of looks at you, and someone walks over, and it's one of the male like bartender or host people, and says, "Excuse me, sir, I'm going to have to ask you to be a little less intrusive in the tap room."
Someone stole our stuff. I grabbed their collar. Tell me who stole our things.
You feel a hand, a very large hand, very strong hand, grab your shoulder and squeeze. And as you kind of turn around, you see a half-orc woman with a bright red mohawk that is kind of just bent to the one side. So it's not up, but it's to the side. And
Like a captive orca's dorsal fin.
the non-captive ones do it too. It just has to do with the collagen and the heat. Yeah, but yeah.
I step to her and say, "Are you the thief?"
She squeezes a little bit harder and says, "You should calm down."
You should secure the building so that we do not get robbed. Now, who has our things?
The other man is adjusting his collar from where you grabbed him and says, "Sir, it is impossible for your room to be robbed because no one can get into your room without a key."
Well, some of our stuff is missing.
Where's that guy you paid 5 gold to? Maybe he has another.
You do not see him. The man will say, "Do you have your keys to your room?"
Yes.
And the other one?
We were only handed 1 key.
We've been robbed.
We would have ensured that you had two. Are you the people who bought the room for 5 gold?
Yes. Who was the
This is
person
why
we
don't
bought
do
it
this.
from?
Sir, I do not know.
He took our
I
halfling.
mean someone that does.
What? He stole your halfling? Like a person?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you
Well,
have
like
a-
half a person. That's why they're called a halfling.
That's fair.
The orc lets go of your sorry, there are no half orcs, just orc. Lets go of your shoulder and says, "Phen?"
You know him.
Yeah, he's been at the festival all day and all night.
Okay, well maybe he didn't take our halfling then.
Where
But
is
he
says-
took
your
everything
ledger?
except the
She
half.
says, "I sort of remember the guy because, frankly, we were all laughing at how much you were willing to pay and how much he made off of that. What we didn't consider was that perhaps you didn't get both keys. So it looks like, yes, you were
Where-
robbed."
Where is your ledger?
She raises her hands and says, "That's between you and the host." The
All right, I
other-
turn and march out yelling Ortessa and grabbing my crystal foci.
She grabs the orc grabs the back of your cloak or clothes and says, "You are going to need to be quiet. We will get Ortessa."
You're going to need a lot more than you if you put your hand on me again.
She cracks her neck to the side and says, "Never been
I
true
do the
before."
same.
Oh my god, like her.
Okay. Roll a you are able to roll a athletics check or a acrobatics check to attempt to get away. Get out of her grip.
Crit.
Okay, you slip
got
out.
it.
You slip out. And she says,
I will step up and put my snout in her face and breathe that horrendous breath, no doubt.
she rolls a 24 to headbutt you.
That's totally in
Right.
character.
Yeah.
It does 6 damage.
Okay.
And
I headbutt her
stuns you. Okay.
with
Oh.
shocking grasp.
D20 roll. I mean, you have to attack.
Yeah, I know. It's marking the health.
Yeah.
Please don't hurt her too much.
19 to hit.
That'll hit.
Grim, don't you feel like this might be getting out of hand?
14 lightning.
The
Yeah,
host is
but I got silver on the orc lady.
what was that, Meidrax?
14 lightning damage.
Okay.
The Mohawk now stands upright.
Yeah.
All right. She is going to step back and Shae, you're kind of looking at her and you kind of recognize her, not as like some bouncer. You think she's one of the like ladies from the brothel portion of the place. You saw her in like nice like clothes last night.
The
Not
Mohawk's
last night, but
unmistakable.
previous like done up to attract attention. She draws back kind of into a stance and then just 2 punches into you. That is 16 and 19. I won't proceed until I know both hit, because I don't know if you can shield and whatnot.
They're both hits.
Okay. You take a total of 15 damage.
God damn it.
Please,
And then
can't
she
we all just...
draws back and brings her knee up into your solar plexus. Is Flurry of Blows one attack added,
so
or
much with unarmed?
is
Flurry of
Flurry
Blows?
of Blows one attack or 2 added on as a bonus action?
2 attacks.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna hit you for an additional 5 damage.
Did you just pick a fist fight with a monk? Really?
You did.
I
A
didn't think
large
she was a
orcish
monk.
monk.
Come on. Come on. Who would have thought she was a monk?
Well, I mean, just look at those arms.
She was a monk hawk.
Those arms.
Them arms. And the host says, "Please, will you stop this?" Now everyone around is.
At that
couple
point,
people are
I am
placing bets.
I'm conjuring the mind spike.
This is casting a spell.
Well,
Gonna
I
take
mean,
an attack of
I'm in the
opportunity.
proc. Why is she getting an attack of opportunity?
She has Mage Slayer.
This is the most ridiculous horror I've ever met.
What's you take another 8 damage.
She's
I'm out.
obviously a war whore.
Oh, man.
A war? Did you say you're out?
Yeah, I'm knocked
Did that,
out.
that drop you?
Mm-hmm.
She kind of shakes off the lightning, watches the spell dissipates, and says, and turns to Shae
Yeah,
and
wait.
Grim.
How did she have a reaction?
Doesn't Mage Slayer give you a reaction when you cast a?
Yeah, but
spell?
shocking grasp doesn't allow reactions.
That's true.
Hadn't been a turn ago.
No, I only hit her once.
And your turn came back. So
That's true.
Wouldn't she?
Never mind.
I mean, I might be wrong. It might be until the end of your next
Oh,
turn.
it's fine. That's fine.
She turns to the two of you, and says, "Next."
Grim looks over his shoulder.
I raise my hands. You want to go to the theater together?
You want to get a cup of coffee?
She kind of smirks and says, "Honey, you couldn't afford it." And she'll step over Meidrax's body and go towards the stair.
I should lay down. I should lay down next to Meidrax. That was a critical hit.
Grim's gonna walk over and reach down and pick Meidrax up by the gauntlet and cast Healing Hands while I do it to give him 5 HP.
You see coin trading hands for a couple people. Not as much as you might expect. Not many people had money on the Dragonborn in this one. The host seems very flustered.
Am I conscious?
I think you have 5 HP, yeah.
Yeah, I turned in fireballer.
Fireball.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean
You
The
you
host?
fireball her and the entire bar?
literally the entire bar. The beaded
Does
curtain.
anyone? I mean,
Yeah, it's getting counterspelled by Ortessa as she walks from the back.
okay.
So she's gonna counterspell. Sorry, fur from Maggie everywhere from the snap. And then she's going to cast something at you. Make a Wisdom saving throw. If you're gonna
My
attempt to
best.
resist, presumably.
I got a 16.
This is a tie, so you resist. You feel your muscles kind of tense up for a second, and then
What happened? Like y'all froze for a
Oh.
minute.
you feel your muscles kind of tense up for a second, but then you kind of push through it.
Okay.
And she will yell as she walks out, pointing a wand at you.
I'll pull.
What the hell is happening out here?
Your employee struck me
Just
when
a little
I was
misunderstanding.
finding out a thief.
Shh, shh, shh. Everything's good here.
She
I'm so sorry.
turns to the bartender and says something at emotions, and the bartender hands her something, and she takes with her hand a gold coin and tosses it to Shae and says, "Get out."
Who stole our stuff?
Get out. I will
Did
have
we bring
someone
all of our
bring-
stuff out of the
No,
room?
she says, "I will have someone bring the rest of your stuff to the porch later. I am calling the guards now. Get
I'm
out
out.
of my establishment."
Tell me who I rented the room from.
She says, "I do not know."
Meidrax, bridge burned. We gotta go.
Bridge will be
What are
burned.
you eating?
You're coming back at midnight to torch this bitch.
Are you leaving?
I'm leaving. When she said the first time to get out, I was grab the coin and I am out.
As you leave the door, all of you leaving? I don't. I mean,
Oh,
there's-
yeah.
There's
Right,
really
dragging
I have a
Meidrax-
question for
Meidrax
one of
if we
you,
have
I
to.
mean, I guess is really. Okay, so you're dragging Meidrax. Unless Meidrax resists, you are all outside.
Yeah.
Okay, this door
I'm
slams shut
grumbling and-
behind you, and you hear some sort of locking.
So we have to wait for them to bring us our stuff before we can go sell those pieces back, right?
It depends on what you would have had on you. I presume you don't have like your travel bags, but you might have had like the bag of holding.
The bag of holding.
I'm curious who's going to bring those slabs of.
No, I would have all of that with me. Like I had planned on leaving immediately to sell things.
So you have the granite too?
The marble. Yeah.
Marble.
It's important to note that would probably also hinder you during combat, but you're just very, very sore.
It could have been a weapon.
Could have been a weapon. The when you fell down, it
Could have
just
been
fall on
armor.
someone's toes. What do you need? Okay, so you are outside in whatever you would have had on you. Meidrax, everything, the rest of you, whatever. I had presumed that when you kind of just stormed downstairs without anything, because you were angry. But whatever you have, and you are outside. And there are a couple town guards walking towards you.
I'm going to try to usher Shae and Meidrax along with me and complain about that unseemly event inside the tavern as we walk past the guards and just try to sneak past.
I'll play along.
I presume that you're playing this up a little much, so either a performance check or a deception check, just to keep them from being
Ooh.
weirdly suspicious.
Just to
Well,
get a
let's
bonus for me
see.
helping.
I don't get a bonus from either one.
You can do
so...
it, and then yes, you would have advantage.
Well, advantage. 15.
Just kind of look at you and keep walking towards the tap room. When they try to open, when they go to open, it doesn't open, so they knock. And now you're down the street.
I think
Are
I'll.
we going to sell this stuff?
Well, my stuff is still inside, so I'm more inclined to sit here and keep an eye out on the porch. You guys can go ahead, but
We should stay together.
okay.
Even if it means being arrested with Meidrax.
The rest of...
They'll never take me alive.
You are one
They
of the
try to
most
murder,
aggressive.
like 50 people. So.
Yeah, you are one of the most aggressive juveniles I've met thus far. To be fair, I haven't met many. Yeah, so I just want to stay kind of out of sight,
Okay.
so I don't. But I want to keep an eye out on the porch.
Well, like 20 minutes later,
We gotta
the
loiter
guards-
casually.
The guards come back out and they're kind of like looking around, and then the orc woman comes out and dumps. bags.
Fireball.
Grim will run up
I
so
presume
that
kidding.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
kidding.
Honestly,
Grim will run
cast
up with a big
fireball
smile
in
on
a
his
crowded
face.
tavern, so I really don't know at this point.
I think it was casting firebolt and not fireball.
No, it was fireball.
Really?
Grim
Yeah,
will jog
that's why-
up. I'm just gonna start.
That's why this is bad.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, no, that would have been
Grim's
like
gonna throw bags
30
over
something
shoulders.
dead people.
As I'm picking stuff up off the porch and the guards are eyeing me funny, I'm gonna kind of look up at the orc lady and say, "Hey, I won 5 silver on you, thanks." And I'm gonna turn around and scurry off.
Oh, there you are. I couldn't figure out where the scratching sound was coming from. She does not look pleased at you approaching. She even like before you kind of like get up to it, she's already shutting the door. Like when you're trying to keep the dog or cat outside, you're shutting the door. Like you're like, here's the thing in the back.
And/or
The so all your stuff is there. But as you approach, the guards circle.
I would like to roll something to know if Phen's stuff is with us,
Phen has his stuff.
or do I need to roll? So none of
Phen
Phen's
never
stuff
went to
is
the
here.
room. Yeah, but only Phen's stuff. Anything that's group would have been with you guys.
Still,
Just
Grim
his-
finds that
his
worrisome.
share of whatever.
Still worrisome. Who surrounded me?
The guards.
Hi guys.
So they were
what's up?
kind of walking away until you ran to get your stuff and started picking it up. So they walk over to you and say, "Is this your stuff?"
Yep.
So we're told there was a spot of trouble inside. Care to
Oh, there
explain?
was. Oh, I had a wager on that spot of trouble, and I won because I bet on the orc girl. Because that draconic guy, he was not going to be able to fight her, and it was nothing but trouble.
The Dragonborn is of interest for us to talk to. Do you know where he is?
No, but if I see him, I'd be more than happy to steer him towards you. I could be like, "Hey, man, they're looking for you, and you should go talk to these guys."
I presume
That'd be
you're like
totally
around
right.
the corner.
No, I'm like literally across the street.
He's literally across the street, about 25 feet away.
Oh, then
Just fuming.
your deception is going to auto fail, and they're going to kind of look over and hands on hilts. They're going to walk over.
Crystal foci in hand.
Out. They're going to draw swords. If you are, do you just have it in your hand, or are you like raising it?
No, I mean, I've got it like held tight in a
Okay.
fist.
They kind of branch out a
I
little
do-
bit, and walk
I do not
over.
want to be arrested. Do I
Do
stand
not
anywhere?
approach me.
Do I stand anywhere near Meidrax? Do you stand anywhere near
I
me?
don't know where you are. I thought you guys were like hiding around a corner, watching, waiting for your stuff to come out.
Yeah, that's. But if he stands on the other, did you walk with Grim or did you stay with me?
It sounds like you kept walking and Grim ran back. So Grim's holding all the stuff. You're hiding in like a corner, and Meidrax is just across the street. Meidrax is
So they
essentially in
don't.
front of Minerva's shop.
So they don't see me.
They're not looking for you offhand.
Excellent. Then I'm fine. Okay, carry on.
Okay, so the three of them kind of approach and say, "Sir, we'd like to have..."
Stand back. Stand back.
They draw their swords and say, "Sir, you need to come with us."
There's no need for me to come with you. I am searching for a thief.
You attacked some people.
I was attacked.
That is
I was attacked.
not the way it was explained to us. You need to come with us.
I did not attack first. They attacked me. I was responding to violence upon my person.
Or did you not grab one of the employees?
Hands were laid upon me first. If you have a problem with this, I will leave the city in smolders.
Oh, that's a good
They're
idea.
going to approach and say, "Sir, you're coming with us."
Fireball behind them.
To get them in it, or as like a scare tactic? Are they in the blast radius?
No, but it's really close.
Okay. They scream out swears at gods. The guards at the gate that's like 30 feet away, as the fireball explodes, there's screams from various people.
I'll drop my bag,
Okay.
right? With the marble still tied to it, and I will take off towards the gate.
Okay. They pursue.
Grim's gonna look at Shae like, what the fuck?
They will potentially intercept. There are also guards at the gate.
Isn't the guard tower right there where we were yet?
Yeah, it'll be like one move to get basically to the gate, and then you can move beyond it after that.
No, the guard tower where we went, or whatever it was, where the two people with the weapons were standing outside. They had fucked up.
Oh,
Wasn't that right by the gate?
No, that's by the other gate. That's by the gate you didn't get to go inside. Tessa's is right by the front entry at the south.
I thought that they were the same place. I'm running towards
No.
that gate.
So you're running
I'm running
away
towards
from
there
them.
for the captain of the guard, or the commander, or
Stop
whatever.
it! Stop
I
it!
can't
Stop
remember.
it! Shit!
I can't remember her name.
Damn it, cat. I don't know if you ever got her name offhand, but hey, sorry, she is chewing on the filament for the 3D printer. Get down. Get down.
Yeah, I didn't get her name.
She's obviously jealous because
She's
you
not
spend
gonna
more
give it to
time
you
with
before
it
she
than her.
stabs you. I can tell you that much. As you take off around the corner, past Fizwick's and Minerva's, you see the practice field. You see several guards, because you did do the fireball, right? That's done.
Yeah, 100%.
You see several guards kind of like looking, including guards at the gate. Guards up at the wall are looking out over. Although I guess you wouldn't necessarily notice all that. A woman in heavy armor is issuing commands to some people. Various citizens and whatever are screaming and yelling and kind of running away. When you turn the corner and are running down the street, she looks up and sees you, and then issues a command out to the people, and 4 more guards tear off towards you, and she follows with them. The guards behind you, or a little bit behind because they were thrown off by the fireball, are coming at you as well.
Cast Mage Armor.
Okay. Okay. the woman is making a beeline for you. The other guys are kind of like circling, and as it shows that you're not going to stop, they're kind of like moving to intercept. So you're now about 15 feet away from the guards. Let's roll initiative, I guess. Might as well track this.
All right, I yell out, "Where is your commander?"
He's trying to assassinate the commander.
I appreciate that. That's good teamwork.
No, I mean that's what the guards would say. Yeah.
Okay.
Shae's not a really good day.
Okay. You two, would you like to roll initiative and be involved, or
Ooh.
how about you go ahead and roll initiative and we'll play it by ear.
Yeah, maybe just stand back and watch for a minute and see what happens.
Sure, I'll roll initiative. See what happens, but I'm not.
Grim got an 11, so he's not a factor yet.
Meidrax?
15.
Okay. 'Shae?
14.
All right. The guard captain, crit, which I guess is a nice use of her crit there to ensure that it doesn't get necessarily used on you. She is going to run at you, and she's just going to try to cut into you. The first
What?
attack.
I can't. I don't know what you're doing. I didn't hear any of that.
The guard captain, who crit her initiative, is running at you and attacking you with her sword. She missed.
These are shitty guards. All right, go for it.
You have tried to bomb the town twice. They are not. They're in it to.
Let's do this.
God, she rolled the same thing twice. You have mage armor on, which puts you up to a 16, correct?
Yep.
She is going to miss with both her attacks. She's going to action surge, attack twice more. That is a 17 to hit.
Yeah, I'm down.
And she stabs you for more than 5 damage, so you go.
Don't leave me?
No. She runs it through you. Or I guess, she kind of slash at you, and then it keeps bouncing off the thing, and she just kind of growls and then stabs into you. You are down.
Shae, I think Meidrax just got arrested.
Now is the question of if
There is no
looking
shooting.
to arrest you or not. They are. She is looking around and she's telling guards to go, out to places. The 3 guards who had the fireball explode behind them kind of stop and are breathing heavily. And they turn back to the 2 of you, and they point and say, "Those 2 are with them." And the guards run at you. And they yell out, "Throw down your weapons."
Not holding any weapons. Except this evil mace.
Shae run.
Shae runs?
Oh yes, I just want to break eye contact, but you want to get out of sight of them.
Grim is holding several hundred pounds of gold and gem, and
she has not had good experience with the pigs when she was younger.
Or when we started this. So are you running towards the gate?
No, I just want to get. I don't know. I assume this is a large probably some alleys, and I just want to.
You are next to
Get-
Bren's goods, I think.
Okay, I just want to get into some alleys or something so that they don't see me, but close enough that there's like still.
In
people.
fairness, they actually hadn't seen you. They had only seen Grim because you were off to the side. So you're near kind of the alley that's been opened up for the festival. It's a little bit dead right now, but it's there. So they're going to run at Grim, and they're going to kind of circle you with their weapons out. And a couple others are going to come out from somewhere else with crossbows kind of leveled at you. And say,
Grim is going to slowly start dropping bags to the ground.
emptying the bag of holding, just more bags are pouring out.
Not emptying, but just like
No,
dropping them on the ground. But once I'm done dropping things, I will be standing there holding the evil mace. Because I meant to grab something, anything, and it's what I grabbed.
Okay.
And I'll just say,
decision.
What do you mean? I bet against that guy in the bar fight.
I need a wisdom saving throw. If you're holding the evil mace.
Oh.
20 or a 1?
That looks not,
That's
that
a
doesn't
keyboard.
look like a 20.
Oh,
That
Jesus.
looks like a 1. We can't hear you, Bobby. I don't know if you muted or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say after the wink, I wasn't sure anybody would buy that I rolled a natural 1 for reals.
So,
No, I don't.
did you guys just like all want to play different characters, or like? Okay.
I think I'm about to play a different character.
You get a massive spike of pain in your head as the screams just become cacophonous. Just holy shit. So on a failed save, there's a different effect. On a 1, there's this. You are gonna take 27 psychic damage as it just racks you with pain.
Well, that's a good start.
Plus whatever that was.
Did someone just play a harmonica?
Presumably you're still up. I actually don't know how much HP you have. Oh, you're at
Yeah,
full,
no,
so-
I'm still up. I was full before, so.
And they're kind of like, drop it. You can make another wisdom saving throw to see if you can drop it. Another 1.
Would you believe that's another 1? I mean, I'll move the camera, but that's 2 in a row on the same die.
What character shall I play next?
As far as Grim knows, you are of good alignment, correct? Or the equivalent of good alignment? Okay. You take
Not anymore.
You take an additional 20 points of damage, psychic. Blood is now leaking from your eyes. Cosmetically, not like wound-wise.
And I'm unconscious.
But are you?
Yep.
Oh, you are. By 1. Hey. Okay. So that's good. For you. Because the result of that was going to be you suddenly started seeing things that needed crushing. So that might actually
That would have been fun.
It might have saved your life, honestly. Okay. Shae, you are away and no one has seen you. So you're
I change appearance.
That's fair as well. You just stand behind a booth, like handing out cotton candy. Okay. Meidrax, I need you to make death saving throws until you stabilize or die. So,
Dead. I rolled 2 1s.
oh, shit. Meidrax expires
You rolled 2 1s in a row, too?
as he bleeds out on
Yep.
This is a conspiracy.
in the dirt. The guard Shae, if you're anywhere within earshot, the guard captain says, take this body to, God, where would they take a body that they don't want? Take this body to the trash. And
That's harsh.
they start taking things away from like anything of value, essentially. And then
I only have a minute to
body
revivify him.
Meidrax's body is dragged off. You are going to be investigated because you basically racked yourself
I'll be
unconscious.
back in a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, George. Take a break as long as you need. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording for a moment. Grim, I need you to make some death saving throws as well, while they're kind of like, because they're not sure.
I'm going to not use that blue die
Gotcha.
ever again in life.
Mine.
Okay,
so mine rolled the crit. That's.
Mine has rolled crits, just not recently. So roll until I die or wake up.
No, they're gonna probably start providing stabilization in a second here, but
That's a 20.
you're good.
There's the die
Wait,
I should have
a
rolled.
natural, presume, because you can't.
Nat
you don't have
20.
any.
Nat
So
20
you actually,
on, yeah.
you actually gasp, and they recoil, and like one like makes to like stab you. You would have dropped the mace, so you are actually startled, and one of them kicks the mace.
So I
away.
don't have evil mace
You don't
anymore?
have the evil mace in your hand. The mace of executions. No, you're good. The one is gonna say, "What the hell was that?" And now you kind of see the form block out the sun, and you look up and you see a rather beautiful young woman with like silvery bright hair, and as it kind of focuses, you notice she's got a scar across her face here, and she actually does have silvery hair. Not it's not just like the light. She's got like platinum blonde hair, just really light. And she's got gray eyes, just kind of like staring at you, like just angry, cold eyes staring at you. You actually recognize her, not only from just kind of being around as the captain of the guard, but she was talking to. She was the one. God, shit, was it in this game? She was giving orders to the two. Yeah, giving orders to the two guys for punishment. I don't think you. And then the blue-skinned woman was standing there kind of watching that, but you don't see her now. But I think that's the only interaction you've had with them, just kind of passing by. She's got a very nice longsword, essentially pointed down at your throat, and you're kind of on the ground looking up. And she says, "What the hell is going on?"
I'm sorry, who are you?
I am in charge of Grensmotte's protection.
What is a Grensmotte?
You have caused trouble here.
Who am I?
She sighs angrily and kind of dips the longsword to the ground. Take him. You feel two people kind of hoist you up and start dragging you towards the guardhouse.
Mommy?
That's how you're gonna play this?
Okay, let me quickly change the World of Terra to Adventures of Shae. As you you kind of like look over your shoulder a little bit, or kind of like under whatever, and you see her kind of like staring down at the man. She pokes it with her sword, and she follows up with saying to someone, "Bring a priest." Shae,
I am a priest.
you find yourself in an alley for the festival. Most people aren't around, or it's not very populated, but also a lot of people are like kind of hiding and cowering, like what's going on? And now that kind of the commotion has stopped a little bit, a few more people are kind of poking back out, but definitely there's no like trade going on right now. There's no selling of goods or entertainment and whatnot. It's mostly just kind of people like, oh, something happened. A lot of rumors. And like, oh, I think someone attacked. No, there would be alarms, like yeah, something. You find yourself just kind of in this alleyway, festooned for festivities, but probably more so once it gets dark.
Okay. Now that I look different, probably like older, and I want to look like I'll look like some old orc woman. Yeah, that works.
Okay.
And I want to walk. All our stuff is back there. I'm gonna risk it and walk back. Maybe too optimistically. Maybe it's still back there.
There's a lot of guards now, kind of around. Some of them are kind of like looking through the pack, just kind of like gingerly checking the. You see Grimm's mace from the Dark Paladin sitting in the middle of the dirt, with that woman standing over it. She's giving orders occasionally, but they're kind of giving this a wide berth. Eventually, you see a man in like cream-colored robes come down the street in kind of like a little shuffle step, like hurry. He looks like kind of just some priest, and they begin talking. And there is a woman next to you, probably mid-30s, and she kind of leans into you and says, "Grandmother, did you see what happened?"
No, was it bad?
I think the guards killed someone.
Oh, that is horrible.
Nothing like this ever happens here. Dear, I wonder what the captain is doing.
Yeah, it's just, and it happened during the theater as well. These are bad times. And I want to look around to see if I can spot our packs.
You see them going through your packs there because they're like searching for, like what's going on, making sure that there's nothing harmful. You feel a tug on your hand, and you look down, and Phen is standing next to you. And he says,
He recognizes me?
he saw you turn.
No, okay.
Oh shit. Sorry. Oh god. Okay. There are claws in my crotch, and I'm trying to move this gingerly, so give me a moment. Okay.
Roll a dex save.
Okay. Why do you not? She's at like a 90-degree angle off of my leg because I'm trying to put her on the ground, but she's trying to grip my. Okay, fine. Fuck it. Stay. Jesus. He says, "Gods, Faye, what happened?" Faye, Shae.
Yeah, it all went south. They've got Grim. I think Meidrax might be either seriously wounded or dead.
I didn't see.
Where were you?
Should we get out of here? I wanted to see the festival, and I got talking to some people, and then it was morning. You know.
I don't want to leave them just here, especially not our stuff. I mean, especially our friends.
Well,
A little bit of Callista slipped in, I'm sorry.
he says, "Yeah, but I mean, we might be able to get Grim out of jail, but I don't even see Meidrax anymore." And that's, he kind of gets up on his tippy toes and says, "That's a lot of blood."
Yeah, but Grim is a cleric. Shouldn't he be able to? He knows how to heal people.
Maybe. I know. I have an idea. I'll run back to to Baytown, and see if Xander or someone else can help us. Because we might need more than just us as random travelers to get out of this.
Okay, and what should I do then?
Maybe wait a few and go check on Grim? Try not to get arrested?
Okay,
I don't
we
know.
should be able to manage that.
I'm hoping Xander
Hurry
will help
up.
us.
I hope so too. I mean, otherwise perhaps one of those ladies that helped us back in Baytown.
Oh yeah.
Hurry up. Hurry up, though.
I'll run as fast as my legs. It'll be a little while.
Rent a horse.
That's a good idea, Shae. You have the best ideas.
I know.
He runs off with his little pack jangling. And that is where we will stop for today. It's a weird session.
Grim hasn't been in a cell in a very long time.
Since the first day we started.
It feels like a lifetime ago.
I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you in a couple weeks.